Welcome to Unit 4, Lesson 8, Cubes and Cube Roots. Let's compare equations with cubes and cube roots. Here are exponent laws. Okay, now let's look at these two graphs. How are these graphs the same? How are they graphs? On the right side, they both go up. On the left side, they do something different. But now, what is important about this? Now, 2 is an even number. So, as you can see, all the y values are positive. All the y values are positive. So, for any even root, for any even root, if you take the root, let's pick a number like 4. If you go over to the graph, you have a positive answer and you have a negative answer. For any even root, you can't not you, but it can't be equal to a negative number. Not you, I'm gonna change that you to it for any root. So what I'm trying to say here is you can't take an even root of a negative number, because any one of these numbers down here at the bottom, x squared does not go through. Okay, so now when we look at the odd numbers like 8, you go over, you come down. The cube root of 8 is 2. But the negative, so the cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. So odd roots give you one answer. Even roots, if it's a positive number, gives you 2 answers, one positive, one negative. So for our note for this one, you can take odd roots of negative numbers. That's what's important to know. You can take the odd roots of negative numbers, but you can't take the even roots of negative numbers because of the graphs. Okay, finding cube roots with a graph. So when you cube a number, the opposite of cubing a number is taking the cube root of that number. When you take the cube root of anything cubed, that thing pops out. The same thing with square roots. So if we take the cube root of x cubed, it will give you x. And if we have x cubed and we take the cube root, or if we had a cube root of x and we cube it, you get x out. So you can't solve an equation and an exponent be anything other than positive 1 and a coefficient be anything other than positive 1. So in order to get rid of a cube, you take the cube root, and we must indicate it with a 3, and x equals 2. You only get one answer. Why? If I look at 8, if I go over to the graph and I come down, I only come down at 2. That's it. It's only one answer for odd roots. The cube root, to get rid of a cube, you take the cube root, x equals the cube root of 2. Take the cube root on both sides. The cube root of 0 equals 0. Now, here's what's different. We see a negative number, but you can take the cube root of it, because if I go over to the graph, it actually touches the graph, and we see that that's negative 2. So x equals negative 2. And then finally, the cube root gets rid of a cube, and x equals the cube root of negative 2. So this is the difference between evens and odds. You can take the odd roots of negative numbers. Now, if we were to graph y equals the cube root of x, this is what your function would look like. So, use your meaning of cube roots to find an exact solution to -4. So -4 is here. We come over to the graph, and then we come down to right there. And so, what number cubed equals -4? Basically, you cube the whole equation, and you get x is equal to -64. So the root of an equation puts you on the x-axis. Find the equation of 3.5. 3.5 is in between 3 and 4. We come till we touch the graph. So it's in between -30 and -60. So, no, I'm sorry. That's positive 3.5. I'm sorry. Same answer, different place. Positive 3.5. We cube the whole thing, and x is 3.5 cubed, whatever that number is. 3 cubed is 27. 4 cubed is 64. 0.5 is probably halfway between 27 and 64. So I don't know what the number is. I'm going to just leave it like that. Okay, so let's solve these. Now, the t plus 4 is under the radical symbol. So we're just going to cube both sides. You get t plus 4 is equal to 27. Subtract 4, subtract 4. T is equal to 23. 23 plus 4 is 27. The cube root of 27 is 3. It works. When you solve an equation, you should always be able to put the number back into the equation. Now, with the one on the left, be careful. The -2 is not under the radical symbol. So we're going to add 2 to both sides, and we get the cube root of p plus 4 is equal to 3. We have to cube everything. We get p plus 4 is equal to 27. Minus 4 minus 4, p is equal to 23. Same as the T1, it's the same thing. Okay, we'll do the rest of them on consecutive pages. So this slide is going to be 6 pages long. It's going to repeat 6 times. Okay, let's look at number 2 here. Whenever you see a negative in front of a term, that means -1 times the thing. So we got -10 is equal to the negative times the cube root of a. Because this is -1 times the cube root of a, we're going to divide by -1. We're going to get 10 equals the cube root of a. We're going to cube both sides. 10 cubed is 1,000, and that equals a. The cube root of a is, the cube root of 1,000 is 10. So a must be 1,000. So let's do the other one. Now, this 6 is not part of the thing, so we subtract 6 on both sides. You get negative, the cube root of b is equal to -6. We're going to divide by -1 again, because the negative is in front of the radical. Cube root of b is equal to +6. When we cube both sides, we get b is equal to 216. Okay, now we're doing a third one. This -4 is not part of the group, so we're going to add 4 to both sides. So you get the cube root of 3 minus w is equal to +4. We're going to cube both sides. 3 minus w is equal to 64. Subtract 3. -w equals 61. Divide by -1. W is equal to -61. 3 minus a -61 is +64. So it works. Okay. We're in the third one. We're going to subtract 3 on both sides. the cube root of 2n is equal to negative 8. Cube roots can be equal, odd roots can be equal to a negative number. When I cube the whole thing, we get 2n is equal to 512, negative 512. When divide by 2 on both sides, n is equal to negative 256. Okay, for number 4, this 9 is not part of the group, so we'll subtract it. Get the cube root of z is equal to negative 9. We're going to cube both sides. Z is equal to negative 729 for the right side. Both of these 4s are not part of the group, so let's combine them first. Okay, so the cube root of negative m is equal to 8. Plus 8. Plus 8 is equal to 6. Subtract 8 from both sides. You get the cube root of negative m is equal to negative 2. If we cube both sides, negative m is equal to negative 8. Divide by negative 1, because your variable can't be negative, that's positive 8. And if we stick it back in there, the cube root of 8 is 2. That's a negative on the inside. 8 minus 2 makes 6. All right, so for this one right here that we're working on, the r cubed minus 19 is under the radical. The 2 is by itself, so we're just going to cube the whole thing. The r cubed minus 19 comes out. That's equal to 8. We add 19 to both sides. R cubed equals 27. Take the cube root to get rid of a cube, and then r equals 3. Okay, that is that. For the next one on the other side, the first thing we have is negative 1 out front, so we're going to divide everything by negative 1. The cube root of c equals negative 5. We cube it. C is equal to 125, negative 125. Don't forget the negative. Okay, looking at this one. This negative goes with this group. It's not goes with the 5. The sign in front of a 5, if there's no sign, is positive. So to get rid of a positive, we got to do the opposite. We got to subtract. So we get negative cube root of k plus 1 is equal to negative 6. I'm going to divide by negative because this is not negative cube root. It's negative 1 times the cube root. Divide by negative 1. I get the cube root of k plus 1 equals 6. Cube both sides. K plus 1 equals 216. Subtract 1, k equals 215. All right, looking at the last one, subtract 3 from both sides. You get the cube root of s minus 7 is equal to negative 3. We have to cube both sides. You get s minus 7 popping out, negative 27. Add 7 to both sides. S is equal to negative 20.